Okay.
That's what we need to hear.
Okay, thank you for joining the special meeting of council. It is July 25th, 11 a.m. in the morning. And with that, we'll call the meeting to order. The first item on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda. Do we have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay. Any questions, edits, additions?
Yeah, I would like to move that we table the item regarding the UBCM. We don't have any information on that, and I don't have time to get into any sort of discussion. I was under the impression we were having a one-topic meeting, and I can't take any more time out of my workday.
If I could, this is just giving authorization to sign off on, what is it, Joe?
It's the new iteration of the gas tax funding. They just need a direction, resolution from council that we can apply for it. So that's the one where we get like $60,000 a year from the federal government for purposes for infrastructure.
So
on a point of procedure, I will second Jamie's motion.
Okay, discussion? No, I'll call.
Is this just an enabling question? Is this just an enabling motion to apply for funding? If so, could
correct.
Vote against and then make a motion to proceed, and then we'd be done.
Correct. It's just to allow staff to apply for funding.
Okay, I'll withdraw my motion if that's all it is.
Yeah, it's guaranteed funding. They just need that from council. That's it.
It's a formal council resolution that they require.
Okay, any other amendments? Any other amendments to the agenda?
Question?
Okay, all in favor?
Sorry. So we have Jamie's withdrawn her amendment, so we have no amendments.
No amendments stands.
Okay, do we have any residents called in?
We have some online, yes.
Okay, so we have residents called in. Should we not be amending the agenda to do the open portion first?
You can do it as you wish. This is just this resolution is minor. It's just an administrative thing, so it's.
I have some comments on it, and there was an email sent by a resident that I forwarded to you guys just before the meeting. It was meant to be part of it, so I think there is going to be some.
I haven't, Councillor Abbott, I haven't seen that letter.
I haven't seen that.
I forwarded just
another meeting. Have not
council.
Yeah, I have not seen that.
Okay.
Okay.
My recommendation.
I think that we should add public participation and consider the motion in open and then move into close to get our piece done there. Doesn't that make sense?
Makes much more sense.
I would agree with that.
So what I'm hearing is change the order so that item number 3 is, or item number 5 is moved. Resolutions is moved to become item number 3, which would be ahead of the closed meeting.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct, and public participation. I suppose in advance of that, as per the norm.
Okay, do we have a motion for
We
that
should really,
amendment?
yeah. Can I just say we should probably add the public participation in advance of that, and also before we move into closed, and as our agendas normally are in open, and we should really start trying to conform to our procedures bylaw in the agenda.
Okay, do we have a motion for that? Do we have a motion for that amendment?
I'll second.
Okay, I'll call the question.
Could be sensitive to the 2-minute rule and also sensitive to Councillor Cullen's point that she needs to get back to work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely, Councillor Broughton.
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor?
Yes.
Question?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, with that, we'll go right to public participation. Mr. Blackwell, would you open it up to the public for participation, please?
Yes, I am currently not seeing
Any hands?
any hands. Seeing no hands.
Okay, with that, we'll move to item number 5, which is resolution motion that the mayor and chief administration officer execute the UBCM Community Works Fund agreement on behalf of the village and or of the purpose of investment in local infrastructure and capacity building properties.
So
Do
moved.
we have a motion for that?
So moved.
Second?
Second,
Okay,
Question.
questions, discussion?
can I jump in here?
Yes, Councilor Reuter, you have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you. Again, as per Jamie's point earlier, I would suggest that we consider this at another time and get to the what we had been led to believe would be a one-issue meeting here and closed. I can speak further as to various issues. If we have to get into a discussion on this in particular, it seems to me we're too late, a day late and $1 short on this anyway. And I would once again point out that there's absolutely no background material provided here for consideration. We've had to go and research it ourselves. So I would move that we table this item.
Okay, before we entertain that motion, Mr. Blackwell, Mr. Cherkoff, can you give us background on this motion?
Sure. It's simply a continuation of the new version of the gas tax funding. That was a 10-year program that expired. The federal government has put up $2.8 billion in funding, which is a replacement version of the gas tax program. So it's another 10-year program, and we simply will receive a bi-yearly check of approximately $32,000, similar to what we had been receiving before, and that's really it. This is a procedural item that they require, just authorization by council for the CAO and the mayor to sign off on the agreement. So there's no obligations on our part or anything like that. We just send it in and then we get money.
It's purely administrative.
I believe there's a motion on the floor. Could we just proceed with the motion?
Okay, Councilor Reuter, did you propose an amendment to the motion?
I was simply moving that we table this again, and if we need to get into a discussion on specifics, I'm ready to go on that, but I'm moving that we table it for the reasons outlined.
Okay, Mr. Blackwell, do we need to call a question on that, a vote on tabling this?
Would not
You-
support tabling the motion.
Okay, do
I'll
we have a
second.
second to table?
I'll
Okay.
second.
Okay, all in favor of tabling this motion?
Yes.
Okay, those opposed?
Opposed.
Opposed,
Opposed. Sorry, Councilor Cunliffe, was that opposed?
opposed, yeah.
Yeah, okay, motion defeated. Okay, any other comments before we call the question on this motion?
Question.
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor?
Hang on, no, I'd like to speak. We're gonna speak.
Okay,
My
Councilor
hand- I
Abbott,
haven't
you have
been
the
raising
floor.
my hand, Ken. I guess that's not working. I'll just stop doing that. We'll just talk.
Okay,
Um,
Councilor Abbott, you've got the floor.
Okay, so to the email that I sent to everyone from a resident a little earlier, she and to agenda, she raises a good point, that there are several things that we also need to do as part of this that we make us non-compliant, as in we don't have audited financial statements, and etc. So question to staff is, how do we deal with that? That's my one question. The other comment I've got is, in the motion, it describes how we intend to spend this money in two categories out of a long list of, I only did a little research myself, like I don't know, 8 or 10 categories. But surely that's a decision council needs to make, and when are we going to do that? So why haven't we prescribed which categories we're spending the money with? Which categories we tend to spend the money on, if council hasn't had a chance to discuss and opine on that.
Okay, Mr. Blackwell, would you please answer that question, Councilor Abbott?
If I may, I think the resolution as worded is general enough. It's simply administrative task It's basically authorizing entry into the contract or the agreement with the federal government. There are a number of categories that are available or eligible for spending. At a future date when council decides where they want to put the money, it should not be an issue. This is simply an administrative staff task.
Okay, Mr. Blackwell, anything further you'd like to add?
No, I think, I can only repeat what Mr. Cherkoff said. This is just simply us. There's a requirement for a council resolution for us to be, for the village, for the municipality to be eligible to receive this money. That's all this is. So it's a generic step. It should not generate any significant dialogue at all. It should just simply be a straightforward resolution, done and dusted. When the money comes forward, then at that point in time, or any point there after this situation, council's in the position to discuss when and how it will choose to allocate the
Perfect.
funds. So this is just to
And
get
I'm sure
access.
that'll be consistent with our strategic plan, so that's great.
Okay, Councillor Reuter, I believe
Could
you
I jump?
had offered
Sorry.
up some
Sorry.
comments.
Sorry, Ken, the hand's not working, so it's difficult. I asked
Okay.
2 questions, only got one answered. And then I'd like to just pass a comment once I hear the other. So the other question was, how are we going to comply with the other things we're meant to do? CCBF annual expenditure and audited financial statements, etc. There's other criteria we're supposed to do. We clearly can't do the audited financial statements. What's
Councillor
that?
Cherkoff, or sorry, Mr. Cherkoff or Mr. Blackwell, can you please answer? Councillor Abbott.
After getting this purely administrative task moved forward, the contract will be returned to the province through their website called PIMS. That tracks all the status for this agreement reporting and what have you. Clearly we can't provide 2023 audited financial statements. We can provide 2022, and I can reach out directly to UBCM to gain an understanding of like where we're at, that our auditor resigned, and then we are currently looking to replace them. And I expect that we can have a dialogue with the province in that respect.
Okay, Councillor Abbott, anything further before we move on to Councillor Reuter?
one other comment on what the CEO had to say. So there are lots of categories and we've selected 2. I would suggest if we are going to leave ourselves open, why do we stipulate which categories? And if this is to go ahead, can we at least remove that? So they just say which category we're going to spend the money on has been undecided at this moment.
I'm not sure about that. I haven't seen those categories.
Oh, there's a bunch, but yeah, I mean, all we need is something authorizing you to sign the contract, entered it. The contract lists all the eligible categories. I don't see a problem with that, limiting those 2 specific items there. It just says authorization to enter into the contract, and then Bob's your uncle on there, anything you want.
To the point, water treatment, for example, is one of the categories we haven't selected that. So let's just make it open so we can do anything.
Okay, Councillor Abbott, we're going to limit the amount of time. I think we're pretty much bumping up against that. We'll move to Councillor Reuter. Councillor Reuter, any comments?
Yeah, I think Neville's raised some of the points that I was also thinking of, but I mean, to Neville's final point, which is that I don't think if we're going to pass a resolution here, that what we're looking for, I think Neville was suggesting, is an amendment such that the categories return to council, and I really don't think that this is that I would like to hear this formally amended, then the resolution to reflect that, because I'm entirely uncomfortable with I keep hearing about purely administrative matters and Bob's your uncle and that it's done and dusted. I think that if that council should have oversight into this and then as to the category. So I would ask that we amend the resolution thusly.
Okay, Councillor Reuter, would you put forward an amendment?
I don't have the language in front of me here, but perhaps.
Okay, well, we're
Blackwell
going to
can
need
help out.
an amendment if we're going to vote on this. Otherwise, I'll call the question on this motion. Councillor Abbott, did you have an amendment?
I'm answering your question.
Councillor Abbott, did you have an amendment on this?
Yes, take off the the last part of the statement in the resolution that says we're submitting under infrastructure and what is it? What are the words? Sorry, someone that's in the room, just help me out. Anyone can do this.
Would it be better to just to add a few more categories that
No, just
feel more
Michael, it's
comfortable? If
simple. We don't-
water, if we want to add water and we want to add a couple of others, council is going to make a decision as to how these funds will be allocated. We won't be restricted by the funding that they've requested, I'm sure.
Okay, if
Mr. Blackwell.
I can make my amendment now. I've now got the resolution. I found the resolution. I would like to make the amendment that now reads that the mayor and chief administrator officer execute the UBCM Works Fund agreement on behalf of the village of Lions Bay, period.
Fine.
I'll second that.
Okay. All right, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay.
Okay, we'll move to the next item, which is the closed portion of the meeting. The proposed topic for discussion is a service contract. Okay, so that is subject to section 90.1 and section K. So do we have a motion to move into closed?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
second,
all in favor?
Yes.
Hold on, did we have any public participation? We had a second section, I think. Did we have
We
anyone
had
who
a
wanted to
public
speak?
participation. There was nobody present. No one was there.
No one chose to participate.
Okay. So
And
all in
neither for the
favor,
second portion?
opposed? Sorry, I couldn't hear. All in favor of moving into closed?
So moved. Aye.
yes,
Aye, opposed? Okay, motion carried. Mr. Blackwell, if you'll move us into closed, remove those residents from the website
Will
for the
do.
closed portion. Thank you.